Welcome back, everyone, to Open Line. We have with us Jason Freeman. He is the political director at SEIU. We are talking about unions. We're specifically talking about Amendment 1. We will be voting on 4 amendments to the Tennessee Constitution on Election Day. Amendment 1 is obviously the first one, and it's one that unions have a very strong opinion on. You have the business community with a very strong opinion. 2 governors are saying vote yes. You have Bill Lee, the current governor, former Governor Bill Haslam. They're leading committees saying vote yes on 1. Jason Freeman and others, unions, are very concerned. They're saying vote no. And so we're kind of getting all the information we can on this tonight. We have, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Barry. Hello, Barry.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
First thing is, I'd like to say to the young man, I perceive that you must be a Democrat, and most time politics comes into the play, and usually it comes in through the unions mostly, and I got news for you. That a lot what you're saying is not necessarily the truth. You take a look at Michigan and a lot of other states that are taking union. There's a lot of people that are taking work for low wages in those states. And thing about it is, I hate seeing Tennessee being where it is now, especially in Nashville. It is so much garbage that's in Nashville than when I was a young boy growing up, and that. And the thing about it is, I don't want to disrespect you, but truth is truth, a lie is lie, and I would say to everybody, vote the way that God would tell you to vote. Take and work a good job, no matter what the pay is. I probably know a whole lot more about these things than either one of you, because I am a lot older, and I have worked for the rich man, and I'm thankful that they had what they had, that I would have a house and whatever that I had at the time to live in. I don't begrudge them. It's theirs. I believe in what belongs to a man or woman belongs to them. And it needs to get to be coming to the place where people quit wanting what the other man has got and start taking and working for a living. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Very interesting. All right. So what do you say to all that?
Well, I think no one is trying to take what the other man has. I think that what we would say generally is, you know, I'm all for people climbing the ladder of success, but the first couple rungs shouldn't be stepping on other people's heads, right? Like, you can't have a business, if your business model is predicated on paying poverty wages, right? If you can only turn a profit by exploiting the labor of another human being, then maybe your business isn't that good. You should be able to be successful and pay people living wages. That is actually how you have a strong economy, because if people make a living wage, they can buy the products. I worked in restaurants for many, many years. And when I was a manager of a restaurant, it occurred to me that the dishwasher and the prep cook and maybe 2 of the line cooks would never have enough money to eat in the restaurant that they worked in. And I thought that's got to be a flaw in this kind of a system, because those are people that we are taking off the board as potential customers because we don't pay them enough money. So other than that, I mean, all I can say is Jesus was a carpenter, and I think he'd vote no.
Okay. Let's go to Thomas. Hello, Thomas.
Hello. I'm voting no for all the right reasons. And before anybody starts calling me a Democrat or Republican, I'm an independent. Have people not been watching the Phil Williams reports on our governor? This guy, Mommy and Daddy were paying when he was at Auburn University. I wonder if they paid for that Confederate Army uniform he wore to celebrate Old South days. He's trying to get elected on guns and Jesus. Well, I'm not voting for him. I didn't vote for him the first time, and I'm not voting for him the second time. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, that's a little different than what we're talking about, I think. I mean, you're not talking about the governor or anything like that. This is Amendment 1, but that's what it says there.
There are... this is not a partisan issue. There are Republicans that are voting no. You can go to Tennessee for All on Twitter or Facebook, and you can see video of Republican working people across the state that are recording videos about why they're voting no. And they're voting no because they want, they see what this is. This is an attempt by greedy corporations to rig our Constitution the way they've rigged our economy. And I think that a lot of people in this country, when we say the system is rigged, they know exactly what that means without explanation. It means that big corporations are making record profits while we're paying higher prices for it, right? I think that this whole conversation about inflation really relates back to this, because when working people have more power, we can rein in corporations that are price gouging. In Tennessee, we pay among the highest grocery and sales taxes in the country. I always hear that this is a low tax state. It's not a low tax state for families, it's a low tax state for businesses. And that's why they're pushing laws like this. And I think this is about who holds power. And there's a reason that this law is being pushed by, governor CEOs and the Chamber of Commerce and the National Federation of Independent Businesses. It's very clearly a choice between people and corporations. Corporations say yes, and people are going to vote no.
Now, all right, you got to say that. So I want to read something from the other side here. This is from someone who's with the Yes Committee. Our nation is at a fork in the road when it comes to protecting worker freedoms. While politicians in Washington and states like Illinois are trampling on workers' rights at the behest of union bosses, Tennesseans are siding with workers by making right to work a fundamental constitutional right. So that's from Justin Owen. He's with the Yes on One Committee. What do you think about that?
So just for clarity, too, I think it's important to know who Justin Owen is. Justin Owen is the head of something called the Beacon Center, which is a Koch brothers funded think tank, is part of a nationwide network of think tanks funded by the Koch brothers, a very wealthy American family that puts a lot of money into politics. And I think that what you see when we have post-Citizens United, where we have this flood of corporate money into our politics, you see people like this getting elevated and pushing these narratives. I think we are at a fork in the road with working people. You're seeing it with workers at Starbucks, workers at Amazon, workers at John Deere going on strike last year, workers standing up and saying, we are going to demand a fair wage. And you've got people who are on the side of workers, and you've got people that are on the side of the bosses and corporations. And so the choice is up to you. If you're on the side of workers, you're going to vote no.
Let's go to Wilma. Hello, Wilma.
Hey, y'all.
Go right ahead.
Hello.
I've got a couple comments. I first like to comment on the whole you must be a Democrat thing. The Teamsters Steelworker Union in New York City, maybe the whole state, they're pro-Trump. Same thing with the Teamsters Coal Miners Union in West Virginia, they're pro-Trump. Same with the Teamsters Trucking Union, they're pro-Trump. So let's put that aside, because one of the things that I did 50 years ago, my first union job was with the Teamsters Union. And my last job was with the Teamsters Union in fabrication of stainless steel. So I know what a hard job is a little bit, but in between there I had other union jobs. And every one of them except for one was in Tennessee, where it's a right to work state. I had the option to join the union and not join the union. A couple times I didn't join the union because I was checking out the shop steward and see what kind of person they were and stuff like that. But never, ever have I been threatened, mistreated, put in an unsafe position in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. And I appreciated working in a union shop and having that choice. It doesn't need to go into the Constitution. I'm going to tell you why I think they're going to put it in there. We're having a lot of automotive industry move here, and I think probably down the road they're going to try to bust those unions like they busted the unions back in 1980s and sent all the jobs over to Mexico, Brazil, and China, Malaysia, and Vietnam, South Korea, and now they're all talking about the past 10 years about bringing all these jobs, manufacturing jobs, back to the United States because they were already predicting the supply chain disruption that could wreak havoc on the country, if not the world, because of what was going on with China. The thing that's changed is a lot of these companies now are owned by the communist Chinese. And there's nothing that the communist Chinese hate more than those liberal unions, and communist Chinese hate liberals, period, and that's a known fact. So the Tennessee state legislature has been courting over the past 6 or 7 years these Chinese communist countries over here, their companies, to come back to Tennessee, and all of a sudden you quit hearing about them talking about that. So I think putting it in the Constitution makes it a done deal to promise them that they can have slave labor as long as they want to and skim the profits off the top.
All right,
Thank you.
Wilma. Okay, Wilma has a lot to say. Okay, I'm going to take a breath for Wilma. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Okay, there's a lot there.
Yep.
The China, okay, that's a lot. But Wilma usually knows what she's talking about. Then she's talking about cars. They want to bring in. There's no doubt about that. We're a state where they've brought in the car industry. Car industry is very concerned about unions, I'm sure. What about that part of what Wilma is saying there?
Well, I just think that I appreciate what Wilma said, that that she felt safe working in a union environment. I think when you're talking about manufacturing, they can be dangerous workplaces, and it's even more important to have the protections that a union membership provides. Because union members are educated about safety standards, and they enforce the safety standards for you, right? When she referenced a shop steward, I appreciate that she's looking into who the shop steward is, because it does matter who they are, right? You need to have people that are looking out for each other, and I think that's just what it comes down to is we want to have good jobs where workers can trust each other, where they can rely on each other, and where they don't feel that they're under threat or danger of being fired for speaking up. And the people pushing these laws, they don't want you to have that power. They want you to be afraid. They want you to be afraid that you're going to get fired if you speak up. They want you to be content, like the previous caller said, you should be content with working for whatever pay they offer you. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be content with whatever pay they're offering me, and you shouldn't either. Everyone is worth a fair wage in this country, and we should demand it.
All right, we're going to take a break. We have to take a break. We'll come back, continue the discussion right after this.